In this video, we're going to take a look at using presets. In Luminar, the version is Neptune, to get a little bit more out of this raw file. I say raw file, you can do this with JPEGs as well. Now, first of all, the presets are down here on the bottom, and you can scroll through until you find one that will work with your picture, for example, that one. Notice as well the way the filters have been added to this panel over here. Let's click on some of the others. The filters have now changed, and the image is now gone to black and white. Now, some of the other presets, if you come over to where it says basic, click on this, you've also got street, portrait, dramatic, travel, outdoor. Let's take a look at outdoor. So I'm going to click on that. You'll notice the way they've changed. Select one from the thumbnail that could work with your image, for example, this one. You'll see with all of the presets, when you click on the thumbnail, you have an amount which will go from 0 through to 100. Click on this, and as we reduce it down, this is going to blend it with the original. Right, let's just take that back to 100. We're now going to remove this panel, and we can do that by coming up to the top right hand corner where it's got the preset panel tab. Clicking on it has removed it. It's now opened the image up as well. Right, scrolling to the top, the first one we have is tone. You'll notice that we got these little orange spots. If you click on this, this is going to switch this filter off. There it is. So that's the difference that this filter is making to the image. You'll also notice the histogram. If your histogram isn't open, you'll find it under this little icon here. So click on that. There's the histogram. Little warning triangles for both the cold pixels and the hot pixels. You can switch them on by either clicking on the little triangle or pressing J on the keyboard, and you can see the hot pixels are the red little spots we've got here. The cold pixels are, yes, blue. Right, if we come to the hot pixels with the highlights, if I just move that across, that's going to remove them. The little blue areas, if I could just come to the contrast, the shadow's fully open, so I'm just going to come to contrast to remove those blue pixels, perhaps just a little bit with the black slider. That will do nicely. Looking at the histogram, we got a bit of a gap here. That means we haven't got the full range of pixels. So I'm going to go to the whites. I'm going to move this across, and as I move it over, you'll notice the image brightening up. I'm going to take it into this area here, just looking for those little red spots, those little warnings, just backing it up slightly into that position will do nicely. Pressing J on the keyboard to remove those warning triangles, or should I say switch them off. Right, coming down to adjustable gradient, clicking on the little orange so we can see there it is, there and there. Having a look, we have got top, we have got bottom. Let's start off with the top. I'm just going to reduce this down, making the top there just a little bit darker into that area. Coming to vibrance, I'm going to take the vibrance down. If I take it up, you can see what, yeah, okay, let's take it down into that position there. It was just looking a little bit too blue. Coming to the bottom, just going to brighten it up. You'll notice it is quite a bright sunny day. We got the shadows coming across in this area, you can see, so I'm just going to work with that, taking the exposure up slightly. Now we've got the set orientation. Now the orientation is where the gradients are going to be. So if we click on it, and there it is, you can see, and if I just move that down and up, you can see it gets brighter as we move this up, and if I move it down, it gets darker. I'm going to move it, if I just show you here, we got the cloud shadow which comes across this area, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to bring it into this position here. I'm just going to swing it around slightly like that, just lifting it up a little bit further. That will do nicely. Clicking back on the set orientation. Incidentally, should point out you can also adjust the amount of feather that you've got. So now it's going to be the lighter starting from this area. It's going to get slowly lighter until we reach this area. Then it's going to come to the amount that we set it to, which was 15 from this point. That's going to be the full 15 from that point onwards. Right, let's just drop that down. That will do. Clicking back on the set orientation to remove those parallel lines. Right, let's come down a little bit further to where we have vignette. Now, you know me and my vignettes, I do like to use these. We have got the highlight priority, which is just what we want, and as we move this back and forth, I'm going to take it into that area. That will do nicely, just going a little bit further, Great stuff. Now, I like using vignettes. I think it's a great way of just being able to highlight the main subject matter. And if we come down to where it says place center, if you click on this, when you click on anything, if it's live, it becomes orange. I'm going to move it out and it's probably going to be in the center. I'm going to move it to this position here. Going to click down. Notice the way that that's changed. Just let me show you. If you come up to this little icon here, it looks a bit like a watch. Click on it, or a clock. You've got the history. Let's go back to this area there. Now when I move the center adjustment, there it is. It's showing us. You can go back. So I can just toggle it back and forth and see which one I like. I think I like that one there. And while we're here, let's just take a look. That's the original. So everything we've done so far has listed. Let's go to that. And coming down, so there it is. There is our vignette. Just switching it off and on and just dropping that down. I think that really does work nicely. Using the post crop, which is fantastic because now if you crop the image, it will automatically adjust that vignette for you. Saturation and vibrance, switching this off and on. That looks pretty good. I'm not going to take the saturation up. I am going to take the vibrance just a touch or two. The structure, switching this off and on, we can see what that's doing, particularly to our fluffy little clouds. Jury's out. I'm going to leave that one for just a second. Okay, let's take a look at adding some filters. So I'm going to click on the add filter. When you click on that, this opens here. Now this is showing us all of the filters that you can scroll through. You're going to get a before and an after, as well as a brief little write-up on what's going to happen. You'll also notice we have got the orange star as well as the orange text. Now this is all my favorites, and you can see there it is there, the HSL, hue, saturation, luminance. We have also got all the color filters are grouped together, the creative filters are grouped together, tonal enhancement, detail, utility, new as well. I like to use all. I'm going to scroll through. So there's the hue, saturation and luminance. Let's come down, we're in saturation. Grab hold of a slider, move it back and forth, see what it does. Not a lot, and with all of these sliders, double click will reset it to its default value. In this case it is 0. Orange, oh, we got sand on the beach, taking that up slightly into that area there. Yellows, moving this back and forth, we have got this area here. Just going to drop that down very slightly into that position. Taking a look at green, we have got the grass on the cliff. I'm going to take that up a little bit more. Blues, not a lot. Double clicking to reset. We have got the blues here, and I'm just going to take the blue saturation down. I think it looks just a little bit unnatural before, so I'm just going to drop that down slightly. Purple, and again with the purple you can see the way we can just change that, so I'm going to drop it down very slightly into that area. Right, let's take a look at luminance. Now luminance is one of my favorites. This is the brightness of the color. You are not changing the saturation, purely the brightness of the color. So having a look at red, and when we move red back and forth, oh, there's a surprise. Look at that. We got the ripples here in the water. We got the shadow area here, the shadow area down there. And if I just move that back and forth again, yep, got to take that up into this area. The orange, we got the beach there, the sand. Just going to drop it down very slightly into that area. Just brings out a little bit more of that gritty feel. The yellows in the cliff, just taking that into the plus area there. The greens slightly into the plus. Let's take a look at the aqua. Yeah, that's not going to do anything. Double clicking. The blues, dropping the blue down slightly there. So just darkening down the blues. Purples, darkening down the purple, darkens down the sky. Switching it off and on. Yeah, like the way that's looking. Just going back to saturation. Just going to reduce the saturation, or should I say take it up. Let's go to its default value, just slightly under default, just -2 there. I think that looks better for the sky. Right, one more filter. Don't forget this is a raw file, so I need to sharpen it. You may be able to sort of skip this stage if you're using a JPEG, but let's just take a look at sharpening. There it is, clicking on it. Now we need to go into 100%. We can do that very quickly and easily by coming up to this 100%. There, clicking on it, in we pop to 100%. It's telling me the zoom down the bottom. Sharpening, let's move this into this area something like this. And with this, it really is a matter of all three sliders and just playing with them until you get an effect that you're after. Masking is going to mask it where you've got the solid colors, such as in the blowing sand here, as in the sky as well. If I just drop this down, notice the way you've got that noise in the sky, so we're sharpening that noise. But as soon as I bring it into this area, look what's happened now. It really has sort of, you know, taken that down slightly. In fact, I'm going to reduce that down, reduce this down, leaving the masking where it is. Great stuff. Clicking down, let's take a look, see how it's looking with this part of the picture, and just waiting for it to pop into place. Great stuff, that looks really good. Coming up to fit on screen, there is our finished image. Just looking around, coming up to this little icon here, it's going to be compare. We have got the before and the after, which we can move back and forth. You can see the way the image is looking. Clicking to remove it. Clicking on the eye is going to show us once again before and after. We can also come to the opacity slider. We can click on this. Incidentally, this will only show if you have the layers showing here. And coming to the opacity slider, we can now, if you want to, just blend it with the original file. Perhaps something like that. No, I'm going to leave it back up with the original. Taking a look, the one thing I wasn't too sure about was structure. So if I just switch that off and on, perhaps just reducing that down a little bit more. Incidentally, come to this icon here and you can reset all the values. Clicking on the little red cross, guess what that'll do? Yes, it will delete it, but I think that there just a little bit more detailed for those clouds. So there it is. That is using Luminar Neptune. We have used the presets to give us a starting position. We have adjusted some of the filters. We have added to the filters. It really is a brilliant piece of software to use. So go on, give it a try. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. But until the next time, it is happy imaging and take care.